You've done it. Or you know someone who has. Or you've at least thought about it at 2 a.m. when your brain stops making responsible decisions. The one-night stand. One person. One night. No strings. No follow-up text. Just two humans making a very human decision and then quietly pretending it didn't happen. We treat this like it's a modern thing. A product of dating apps and cheap wine and the collapse of traditional values, depending on who you ask. But here's the question nobody is asking. What if it's not modern at all? What if the one-night stand is not a symptom of modern society, but one of the oldest human behaviors that ever existed? Buckle up. Because the answer is going to make you look at your ancestors very differently. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth that evolutionary biologists have been sitting on for decades. Humans are not naturally monogamous. I know. But hear me out. If you look at human anatomy, and scientists have, the evidence points toward a species that evolved under conditions of what biologists call sperm competition. Without getting too graphic, this basically means that throughout evolutionary history, it was common enough for one female to mate with multiple males in a short window of time that male biology actually evolved to compete at a cellular level. That's not a moral statement. That's just what the data says. Primatologist Robin Baker documented this extensively in the 1990s. And what it implies is genuinely mind-bending. For sperm competition to exist as a biological feature, evolution had to have selected for it over thousands of generations. Which means the behavior driving it, multiple partners, short-term mating, was common enough and long enough ago to leave a mark on our actual DNA. Your biology is carrying a receipt from your ancestors' one-night stands. But let's get practical. Because biology is one thing. What did life actually look like? Ancient humans lived in small bands of 20 to 50 people. No privacy. No separate bedrooms. No Tinder. Just the same faces. Every single day. Now here's where it gets interesting. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies, the closest living window we have into ancient human social life, have found that strict lifelong monogamy is actually the exception, not the rule. The Hadza people of Tanzania, one of the most studied hunter-gatherer groups on Earth, practice what researchers describe as serial monogamy. Meaning relationships form, they last for a period, and then they dissolve, sometimes after one night, sometimes after years. There is no ceremony locking two people together forever. There is no social contract enforced by law. There is just two people choosing each other, for however long that choice lasts. And when it stops, life continues. The tribe continues. Nobody is exiled. Nobody is shamed. Sound familiar? But before you romanticize ancient humans as some kind of free love utopia, stop. Because there was a dark side to short-term mating in the ancient world that modern one-night stands don't carry. Consequence number 1, paternity uncertainty. In a world before DNA tests, a child born after a short-term encounter created a genuine social crisis. Who provides for this child? Who protects it? Who is responsible? In many ancient societies, the answer was, the tribe. Collectively. Anthropologists call this cooperative breeding, the idea that children were raised not just by two parents but by the entire group. Which actually made short-term mating more socially viable, not less. Because the child wouldn't starve if the father was unknown or absent. Consequence number 2, male competition. Short-term mating in small groups where everyone knows everyone else didn't always end peacefully. Archaeological evidence, skulls with blunt force trauma, bones with healed combat wounds, suggests that male competition over mating access was real, physical, and sometimes fatal. The one-night stand in the ancient world could, in the worst-case scenario, start a conflict that the entire tribe had to manage. There were no walk of shame mornings. There were tribal politics. So did ancient humans have one-night stands? Here's what the evidence actually tells us. Genetic studies published in journals including Nature have analyzed ancient human DNA from archaeological sites across multiple continents. What they found was a level of genetic diversity within ancient populations that is inconsistent with strict pair bonding. Translation: ancient humans were mixing their genes around. A lot. Evolutionary psychologist David Buss at the University of Texas spent decades studying short-term mating strategies across 37 cultures worldwide. His conclusion: short-term mating is a universal human behavior. Not a Western behavior. Not a modern behavior. A human behavior. Found everywhere. In every culture. At every point in recorded history. It was never invented. It was never introduced. It was always already there. Here's what sits with me about all of this. We spend enormous amounts of cultural energy debating the one-night stand. Judging it. Defending it. Feeling guilty about it. Feeling proud of it. And the entire time, for thousands of years, our ancestors were doing the exact same thing. Under the stars. Around a fire. In a world with no laws about it, no religion debating it, no apps facilitating it. Just two humans. Making a very human decision. The one-night stand is not a sign of moral decay. It is not a symptom of a broken society. It is one of the oldest stories the human species has ever told. The only thing that's changed is that now, you have to deal with leaving on an awkward morning, instead of just going back to hunting mammoths with the same person the next day. Some things got harder. What other ancient human behaviors are hiding inside your daily life? Subscribe, because the answers are always weirder than you think.